Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We have two of your favorite players duking it out today in one of the most exciting matchups. Up here in the top right of Polestar, we have Jaedong. And his opponent in the bottom left, absolutely one of the favorite players on this channel. I would say, I think amongst the people that watch like every video, he's like a top 3-ish fan favorite after Toggles and Flash. Bishop. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if that's what your ratings are, you guys that are here every day, especially. You know, I can tell a lot of times who the other players are that people that don't watch every game generally tune in more for Flash games, for Jaedong games, you know, basically big names. But the people watch every day, like, it's partially trolling, I think, but people like Toggles. I don't think it's trolling for people that like Bishop, because he just kind of adds like a very different style. He has a lot of different build orders. He's like just a very exciting player right now. So people have really been enjoying him. But yeah, I guess you can let me know. I definitely enjoy watching and casting Bishop's games, especially his Terran vs. Zergs. I think that those are his most dynamic, interesting matchups. Obviously, his two-port Wraith play is really fun. Some of the heavier fireback games that he has are really fun. And I love watching Jaedong right now as well. Jaedong is in very good shape. He hasn't been delivering in ASL maybe as well as his actual shape in other games would lead you to believe. But the funny thing is he's been for the last year and a half or so like one of the top performing Zergs anyways. But I feel like he is getting close to possibly winning another championship. I don't think he's that far off. You know, his Zerg vs. Terran has gone a lot better lately, and I'm hoping that we see that here against Bishop. Because Bishop has like a pretty killer Terran vs. Zerg. Like, I think he's one of the better players at it right now. And I think having fresh ideas is really important in the matchup as well, because a lot of people have been struggling with Terran vs. Zerg lately, so I think that Bishop kind of adding in some of these other styles is something that is very helpful for his performance in the matchup, I guess. So, anyways, gonna go ahead and take his command center. It is cross spawn. He's gonna push out with a couple Marines, and what we'll see with the SCV is the SCV will just check on Zerglings being made. If you only make 2 Zerglings or 0 Zerglings, the 2 Marine push is actually pretty decent. It forces a lack of mining for a little bit. But if you make 4 Zerglings, you have to turn around with those Marines really quick. And it looks like he's just going to turn around anyways. Maybe he was looking to catch a drone or something like that. The thing is, it's cross spawn. And if you lose those 2 Zerglings, it's like, wow, like your build is a lot weaker at that point. So, yeah, looking down at Bishop's base, this is going to be a very fast +1 rush, which I think in cross spawn is going to be your best opener. A walled +1 rush is going to be pretty darn good, because it's... So here's the thing. Basically, it's like really hard if you, let's say, like, okay, so for SK Terran openers, for Marine Medic openers, there's +1 rush. And, well, I mean, there's 8 racks variants where you're putting on a lot of pressure right off the beginning and going into bio. But there's basically like +1 rushes or 2 racks academy. And the thing is, 2 racks academy, the travel distance is too far. You can't get across before the mutas are out, realistically. Like, technically there are ways that you could trim your build and skip a few SCVs and maybe do that. But if they make 2 Sunkens, it's like all for naught. And that's generally what you're looking for anyways. So basically the +1 build seems to be a little bit better. And when you think about the... Oh, wow, this is a big catch. When you think about the locations where they might take their 3rd base, the +1 build becomes a lot better as well. Now, these 4 Speedlings trying to run in. He has 2 holes in his wall, so it does make it a little bit easier for Jaedong to get in. But that Overlord kill was better than I think what these Zerglings are going to end up getting done. But already a Marine, 2 SCVs... going to fall. The Zerglings being really annoying. Really annoying. And just barely don't get another one there. Spire is just about to finish. Second barracks coming up. And in fact, you can see that Bishop is like, he's behind on where he should be. Ooh, you do not want to lose this medic. Oh, and he does lose the medic. Okay, I think that Jaedong got fair compensation for that Overlord dying. It was a great move for Bishop to catch the Overlord here, but the counterplay from Jaedong was just really, really strong. Now 6 mutas on the way as well as +1. And barracks, I mean, not barracks. Barracks is on my mind, and the barracks building is on my mind because they're being made right now. But yeah, Bishop is a little bit slow in these barracks that he's making, and obviously that has to do with the harassment of those Zerglings. But I think everything from this position will probably normalize for these players. Like, I think they both did about equal damage to each other. Like, again, maybe Jaedong's was slightly better, but his mutas did get hiccuped from it a little bit, which is allowing Bishop to catch up some. So, yeah, see, he's getting his turrets just in the nick of time. And it's all looking... It seems to me like Jaedong, yeah, we'll probably just have to pull back a little bit. Now, Jaedong is taking a third base in the top left. Okay? And this is actually, like, the type of game that I was hoping that we would get. So, historically, that's not the right word, because historically would take into consideration the Kespa era, and this wasn't really the meta at all back then. But... like, in the modern era, the weakness of Jaedong has been this against this. That's literally exactly what his weakness has been. In fact, I think it was last ASL season I was saying this is the way Light should play, and this is how he will win, and this is why Jaedong will lose. And it literally all came exactly true, because that's just how he's lost most of his games. He has a really hard time against heavy Marine medic pressure on his third base. That is, like, literally what's killed Jaedong a ton. Now, he's counterattacking right now, and this Bioforce is out here, but it's a long distance. Now, Jaedong actually has to leave right now to go after this Bioforce. He cannot just let this walk across the map. He gets maybe one more swipe, and he has to go. Yeah, see, you have to get back before the Marine Medic hits your natural, because he doesn't have any Sunkens. And this is what he's struggled with, but as I've been talking a lot about it, he's improved dramatically against this style. And this is why I think Jaedong's getting closer and closer to a championship, because this is what knocks him out most seasons, is these types of pushes where he's like, I just barely am not holding everything. You know, it's a different world than it used to be, and he comes back in time. So, like, this is no longer that scary. Like, he's got a fair amount of medics. He's got, like, 12 Marines, +1 range. Okay, like, this can play against this for a little bit, but Jaedong will end up killing this all off. And, in fact, he just brings all his mutas in. He doesn't want to spend the time just, like, over-microing here. So he trades, like, 3 mutas and kills the group, which I think is a fine... It's fine to do that. You can get your mutas kind of back into play some. But... we have these Marines kind of going out into the map. You can see Marines kind of all over the place. He had these on attack move and spread because he doesn't know Jaedong had a base here. If he did, Bishop would have stemmed in and tried to kill drones, because that's like such a powerful play. Now, Starport on the way, +1 armor still coming up. No second gas as of yet for Bishop. 37 workers, so not too bad. He's building some additional missile turrets. And... you can see it's mostly Mutaling right now for Jaedong if we just kind of look around the map. Queen's Nest is finishing up as well as the Lurker upgrade. So there's definitely Jaedong starting to transition. And looking at Bishop, like, he's just buying what he can afford right now. I appreciate when a Terran can look at it and say, yeah, I can't afford double Starport. We'll just start with 1 and we'll go into 2 afterwards. So very well done, I think, from him. And with Lurker eggs coming up, 2 over here, 2 over here. So yeah, that's basically enough with Muta support to hold on against a lot of Marine Medic, and I'm sure he'll make more than that as well. Hive on the way. 5th racks coming up. Muta's diving into this main base now, and this is a very normal timing for that Muta dive from Jaedong. And look at this. Yeah, I mean, he's doing all right. And in fact, he could kill a few more Marines, but I think he's just going to get out of here. Take some decent damage, but I think that was an okay dive. Like, that's when you want to dive, is when your Lurkers are finishing, because that's when the Marine Medic ball on the map is the least powerful, is when you get your Lurkers into position. So that's, like, You get another dive with the mutas, and eventually you want to pull them back before a radiate starts to eliminate them. Because if you start to eliminate them with radiate, then you don't have mutas, they can't help in your defense, they can't stop dropships, that type of thing. So Jaedong is pulling back reasonably well. Bishop still has pretty good intel. He pretty much knows what's going on. I like that he's keeping some forward pressure. I think he's identified that there's not going to be any more mutas made at this point. These are hurt enough that he can kind of get out here and keep that pressure on. 3 lurkers here. 3 lurkers here with another on the way. Defiler mound, evolution chamber. Very good. Like, very standard stuff. Here's that second starport we were talking about as well. A radiate coming up. Good amount of marine medic. But it's very hard for Bishop to pressure anything right now. Like killing off some mutas, okay, that's good. The mutas, I mean, they might fly in and try to do something else, but I think it might be a little bit wasteful. I think these are... It's generally considered right now, like there was a period of time where when you get lurkers out, you'd basically use up your mutas a little bit. Like you'd really dive a couple times and really go after SCVs. But nowadays, it's like the mutas are actually, they hold a great importance at stopping drops. Because when you have these lurker, like, look at this, right? Overlord over it. It's like, okay, well, D-Matrix Firebats could break this, or you could drop. Right? So those are kind of the things you're looking for, and the mutas help out in both of those situations. So we'll see what Bishop ends up doing here. Consume on the way here for Jaedong. Dropship coming up as well. Notice he has some Scourge. Few Scourge. Mutas coming over. This is kind of the more open area. A bunch of Scourge flying over as well. Yeah, Jaedong's retargeting down the ramp. So that's exactly how you play this position. Holy crap. So what Bishop was trying to do there, he stemmed up a few Marines, and the lurkers will auto-target those because they came into range first. And he just kind of spread them to try to keep that, and Jaedong re-targeted down the ramp. That's an incredibly important move. That's incredibly important. And sometimes Zergs don't do that, and then suddenly all the lurkers die and Terran wins the game. Remember, my late great friend in Control used to do this to me all the time and then laugh at me when I tried these moves. But the move, it works a lot of the time. But when they retarget down the ramp, you got to recognize that like they're paying attention and you need to pull back. And Bishop was a little bit late on that, so he lost a lot of supply there. Okay, let's go back and look. Let's see. Oh, Hydralisk speed on the way. So we're starting to get an idea of what's going on. I don't think Bishop knows yet, but it looks like it's going to be like a Hydra Lurker Defiler. Third base coming up for Bishop. Not super fast, but based on the game, I kind of understand the speed of it. You know, there was a lot of damage earlier on. They really kind of messed with each other, so it's like not super fast. Now, 3 dropships coming out. This is the moment where you can start to get some real damage as Bishop and maybe kind of get back into the game. Because right now, Jaedong is in a better spot for sure. If you look at these supplies, his spot is without question stronger. Now, there's 2 irradiates here, and you have a lot of options. It's like, do you try to irradiate Scourge? Are you going to try to just... Oh, that was a good defense matrix, but he drops, and the lurkers are already here. He actually did not pre-scan. If you pre-scan, it actually shows where you're going to drop, so you do have to be careful about deciding how you want to do that. And Jaedong is literally smashing him. He is smashing him right now. It's crazy. Bishop is not able to find any damage anywhere. Jaedong stopped the push that was across here. Initially, he retargeted the lurkers over here. He had lurkers already in his base. I've been hitting this a lot as well, where people just pre-burrow lurkers. They just kind of know what you're going to do, right? They covered this complete area with Scourge, with some lurkers at the front, and then in their main base, oftentimes they get those macro hatches, just kind of sit a bunch of units in there, so the drops are very hard to utilize. Now, Bishop has gone up to 4 bases, so we still have some real potential here. 3rd starport, and he's getting Vessel Energy, which is a very under-researched upgrade. It's a great upgrade. But he's against Hydra Lurker Defiler, so Heavy Vessel is not actually going to be that strong. Obviously, it's never going to be terrible, but going to be hard to pull it off. Now, Irradiates... Oh, nice Plague there at the end. But Irradiates the Defiler, which is the really important thing. And now that he's seen this many Hydras, we should see more factories. Yeah. So as soon as he recognizes that it's Hydra Lurker Defiler, 2 more factories, and this one comes down. So he's going to go into 3 factory siege tank. And that's generally considered the best thing to do against this. I actually have been feeling more lately like maybe 2 factory siege tank. If the Terran player, like, obviously this is for top pros. I think for lower level players, 3 factory is going to make more sense. But for higher level, maybe 2 factory siege tank will take over. But you know what? He's got 4 gases. I guess if one of these was a mineral base, what I'm saying would make more sense. But anyways, continue to push up. Another plague onto his army. Bishop has to keep Jaedong back. Jaedong is getting a 4th base here. And, like, this is the most cost-efficient composition that Zerg has. Is Hydra Lurker Defiler. Oh, and he's just going to GG. I'm not actually very surprised about that. We'll just jump back and we'll look at the actual position right before he left. But I'm not too surprised. All of his attacks kind of didn't do anything. If we look at these supplies, this is massively Jaedong favored. The fact that he's up in supply and only down 10 drones there, it's like Bishop has a very good economy, but his siege tanks are going to be very late. Yeah, he's got 8 racks and he's got decent upgrades and everything, but Hydra Lurker Defiler chews through bio really, really hard. This is a losing game for sure for Bishop. Now, he could have stayed in the game perhaps, but the odds of Jaedong pushing down quickly and taking out this base are very, very high. If he already had a bunch of siege tanks here, I think it's a much better case for staying in the game. So let's just take a look, right? Yeah, so as that's getting cleared, he sees this coming. He knows this base is dead because his bioforce was here and it was plagued. So this base is going down and his factories just weren't ready. Like you can see, he was still making 2 of the add-ons. So he had like 1 siege tank about to start maybe. So not a bad leave, but you can see here how Jaedong has filled in some of his play that was weaker before. It was an excellent Zergling counterattack. The Mutas stayed about as long as they could before coming out to stop the Bioforce, and those are the main things that allowed him to get into a better position in the late game like this. So very well done. Let me know if you agree with my assessment on Jaedong. Thank you for watching, guys. See you next time.